It's Noodles and the O-Dog.
Everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no.
All right, best bets later in the hour. Powered by FanDuel. But a lot of activity this afternoon. Matthias Michelli's probably like, dude, give me some time here to be the headliner of the day. The Leafs acquired him via trade earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon from Utah.
Made some good passes on the YouTube stuff I saw today.
Hey, a couple years ago, had 57 points, I believe, put up some good numbers, skilled guy. You know, they paid a third-round pick, a conditional pick. They have money. They got some flexibility. I think what the Leafs did with the Tavares deal was a team-friendly deal. That's a big win. I think the Nice deal is a really reasonable deal on both sides.
Yeah, and don't kid yourself. We talked about Marner leaving Hayes and him not being a part of the playoff success that everybody wanted. Maybe the Leafs could be under a lot of heat next year if they stink the joint out early on. Let's be real.
They got to perform for sure, but you still have Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, Nyes. Is a really good player.
Mitch was a big part of it. A lot
Mitch
of minutes,
was a
special
huge part
teams, killing penalties.
He was PP1, PK1, first line, played more minutes, than almost anyone.
Well,
it's a massive hole that will not be filled by one player. That's not going to happen, but I don't think that's the intention, right? No. That's not the plan. You bring in Waugh, you bring in a couple of other forwards, you spread things out, you can have a different feeling team. Steven Lorentz is back on a 3-year deal, 1.35. Pontus Holberg, not qualified, likely done in Toronto. Here's the guy you're going to hear tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Maybe not tomorrow. I don't know, because it's Canada Day. Probably not. Anyway, good plug. Here's Carlo Koliakovo. Hey, Carlo. How are you, man?
What's up, boys? I am on tomorrow, but not at 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Ah, beautiful. That's great. Yes. Okay, so we got first up tomorrow at 7 a.m. Overdrive will be on tomorrow. We're going to be up on TSN at 11 a.m., 11 to 5 with Free Agent Frenzy. What do you make of Mitch Marner? 8 years, $12 million per, going to Vegas. Nicholas Waugh coming back to the Leafs.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? It's crazy. All the guys are gone.
Mm-hmm.
But, look, I'm just glad it's over, guys. All the drama leading up to this. He's going to go to July 1st. He's going to go on all these tours. He's going to entertain different offers. What's he going to make? Is he going to be the highest paid player in the league? I think if you're a Leaf fan today, you kind of feel relieved that it's over. And I think there's a lot of people that are upset at the way it ended.
Upset about what, Coco?
Well, upset at watching a really good player want to leave your organization. I think the common thing and the common theme we've seen today is, aside from trades, we've seen a lot of guys return to their teams. Right? Here we are in Toronto watching one of their top players leave out the door, apparently on his own choice doing so, and it just makes you reflect. It makes you reflect, how did we get here? And you go back to the old management regime. Before they signed Tavares, there was that big rumored deal on the table for Marner. It would have been 8 times 8 to keep him here on a long-term deal, and the organization didn't want to do it. They let him play out a contract year, and he goes out and earns himself a contract, and it just seems like things since that point have been toxic for Mitch, and I don't know why. The contract had a lot to do with it. Obviously, the playoff performances had a lot to do with it, but I think for a lot of people, there's anger towards him leaving in some of the things people are saying about him. But the way I look at it, it's sad. It's sad that the Maple Leafs are watching a player that played his whole career here up until this point put up some amazing numbers and choose to play somewhere else. When you look at the 3 players that played in Florida, yeah, okay, they signed team-friendly deals, but they prioritize happiness because they wanted to be happy. Clearly, Mitch wasn't happy to stay.
How do you think his legacy will be remembered? When people talk in 10 years about Mitch Marner's time in Toronto, Coco, how do you think it'll be characterized?
Well, I think it should be characterized in a good way. This guy has played himself to the point where, he's in the record books with this organization.
Seems simple, Coco, but you know how unrealistic people are. It seems like a stretch that it would be characterized that way.
It's very unrealistic that people will look back and say what I said about his career, because immediately they'll think of the bad stuff with Mitch. couldn't play in the playoffs, couldn't handle the pressure.
Well, those are real things. I love how it's like those are made up or something.
No,
like,
they are real things. 100%.
Pretty
I
important things like how you played in the playoffs is probably how fans are going to kind of scope their reputation, and feel about a player.
Hayes, I think for me, I'll always appreciate Mitch as a player because I loved watching him play. And I think most people should feel that way about Mitch. You put the player in perspective, hell of a player. The one thing I didn't enjoy about Mitch was the way he handled himself in front of a mic. And I think that's what rubs people the wrong way about him, because it just seemed like every time he had a mic in front of him, he felt like people were attacking him. And I thought that was a very poor approach. But clearly he decided he wanted to be somewhere else. And this goes back to last year when, there was the thought of moving him, and Vegas was the place of choice, and now it's confirmed the place of choice. I think you guys agree. You loved watching Mitch.
That was a great player.
In the regular season.
Outstanding player.
Right? But here we are today. It's a start of a new chapter in Leafland.
So do you think after he leaves, like right now we were talking about there's some vitriol, I think, and people are on the fence of how they want to feel about this, and you were laying it out, Coco. Will time heal that, or basically if the team is better or does something different, like will time heal the thought process on Mitch Marner when people look back on his legacy 5-10 years from now and go, that guy was a hell of a player?
The huge part of it, Noodles, is what happens in the future. I think so. I think in particular with the Leafs, right? If the Leafs go either way, I think it will help Marner in a weird way. Like if they crater, people say we should have kept Mitch. Even people that are begging from the leave.
Immediately.
That will start immediately. If they're awful, it's what kind of an idiot wanted Mitch Marner gone. If they win, the relief will be so crazy here that everything will just be washed away. It'll be whatever they won. It's amazing. Everyone's welcome back.
Isn't the easiest way to compare that to look at the Raptors and Vince Carter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Raptors win a championship and everybody wants to, forgive Vince for what he did. If the Raptors didn't win a championship, would they feel the same way about Vince? I mean, they hung his jersey in the rafters a couple of years ago. And I think the same could be said about Mitch. I mean, I don't think he's going to get probably the ovation he believes, or most people believe he deserves when he comes back. I think it's going to be mean.
Well, I think it could
really
be
mean.
Pretty mean. I think it could be pretty. Now, Toronto's not wired that way generally. But so it's not going to be.
This is different, Hayes. I feel like this.
Yeah, but Coco, they'll be like, boo in the first period. We hate you. And then the third